Over 100 companies moved their headquarters to Dallas-Fort Worth between 2018 and 2024, and that's more than Austin and Houston combined. Now, for decades, Houston powered Texas through oil, and Austin brought in tech startups. But now today, Dallas is quietly becoming the state's new economic capital. And by the way, my name is Levi, and we're the #1 real estate relocation team here in the Dallas area. And today I'll break down why Dallas is becoming the economic capital of Texas and what this means for your next move. Now, here's what most people kind of get wrong about the Texas cities. Each one has always had its role, right? Houston was energy and oil and gas. It literally built that city. Think about Austin was innovation, kind of like the tech hub and the startup capital. And then Dallas, well, Dallas was just business, but kind of like in the background. But I don't think that's true anymore. Now, for years, people would say that Houston was the biggest economy in Texas, and it was. But Austin got all of the headlines during the pandemic, of course, because Elon Musk moved Tesla here. You had Oracle setting up shop. But here's what really a lot of people miss is that Dallas has been quietly building something really much more powerful. And it's not just in one industry, it's a complete transformation. So the shift didn't really happen overnight, but it's really starting to accelerate fast now. And, understanding why Dallas won the corporate relocation race reveals really everything about where Texas is headed economically. And I'm sure you want to know what changed everything, right? Well, Dallas-Fort Worth became the #1 destination in the entire United States for corporate headquarter relocations. The stats are between 2018 to 2024, over 100 companies announced moves to North Texas. Austin had 81 relocations during the same period. Houston had 31. So Dallas just beat both of them. And we're not talking about small companies either. You look at Charles Schwab moved its headquarters from San Francisco to Westlake in 2021. Goldman Sachs is breaking ground on an 800,000 square foot Dallas campus. And this is going to bring in over 5,000 employees. Now, the campus topped out in November of 2025 with a total cost of $709 million. But here's what really kind of makes this interesting is when we talk about the real estate situation here in a minute, I'll show you how these corporate relocations are really kind of creating negotiating opportunities that didn't exist 2 years ago. And if you think about Toyota, they relocated its headquarters to Plano. Caterpillar relocated from Deerfield, Illinois, over to Irving. You had McKesson move from San Francisco to Las Colinas. And then you had a Jacobs Engineering relocated from Pasadena over to Dallas. So these are full headquarters with thousands of employees that are making really good money. So they're buying homes, and that's really kind of completely transforming a lot of these neighborhoods. Now, in 2024, the business climate and access to consumer bases were the top reasons that companies cited for relocation. And it makes sense, right? Dallas sits right in the middle of the country. You can reach pretty much any major market in the U.S. from here, of course, especially with direct flights from the airport. Plus, Texas has no state income tax, very low cost of doing business, and Dallas has the infrastructure really to support massive corporate campuses. And these companies are making billion-dollar commitments, which really means job security and a lot of career growth here in the Dallas area. So you have this solid foundation of Fortune 500 headquarters, and it sets up the infrastructure advantage that really separates Dallas from every other Texas city. But this is where Dallas kind of leaves Houston and Austin behind. It's not really luck. It's logistics and strategy built over decades. You have DFW Airport is the third busiest airport for total passenger traffic as of 2024. So it handled over 68,000 metric tons of international cargo in 2024. And if you're a major company, you need to move goods and you need to move people. You need connectivity. Dallas maintains a pretty robust partnerships with major cargo carriers like FedEx, UPS, American Airlines Cargo. Plus, you've got the Alliance Global Logistics Hub, which is that alone is a 9,600-acre inland port. And then, of course, Dallas has central location in the U.S. that allows for nonstop service to major cargo markets all around the world. So you got major interstate connections running right through the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and it's really a no-brainer. If you compare that to Austin, Austin's great for startups, a cool city, university town. It's got a pretty young, cool, hip vibe. But when you're talking about massive corporate operations, logistics, and infrastructure and global connectivity, I mean, Dallas wins hands down. Houston has a port of Houston, but it's really coastal and heavily tied to oil and gas. But Dallas sits right in the middle of everything with really endless room to build. And of course, I've been watching the development up here in Frisco and Prosper and Salina, and these areas are absolutely exploding. I mean, master plan communities, you've got corporate campuses, mixed-use developments. I mean, there's space to grow here in a way that Austin and Houston just don't have anymore. So the infrastructure advantage really isn't abstract. I mean, it's operational efficiency, and it means you can actually live near work without sacrificing space or quality of life. So the combination of logistics and livability, I mean, it directly feeds into why Dallas built the most balanced economy in Texas. But here's what nobody tells you about why Dallas is really different. I mean, Houston and Austin are, really strong economies, but they're vulnerable in ways that Dallas isn't. I mean, Houston still runs primarily on energy and oil and gas. So Houston's economy is energy heavy, which makes it, subject to global oil and those price fluctuations. And so when oil prices are high, Houston booms, right? And when they drop, Houston struggles. So it's kind of like a boom bust cycle. And then you think about Austin driving startups and tech. And, of course, during the pandemic era, I mean, Austin was the hottest market in the country, but now the economy is tech startup concentrated, which kind of makes it vulnerable to venture capital and tech market volatility. But we saw this in 2022 and 2023 when tech companies started laying off people, and then venture capital kind of dried up and Austin's growth slowed way down, But here in Dallas, I mean, Dallas has a pretty balanced economy across, we got finance, got defense, logistics, healthcare, retail, tech, corporate services. I mean, this diversification really makes it stable in ways less vulnerable to downturns in really any single sector. But when one sector has kind of a downturn, the others keep the economy moving ahead. But this balanced economy, isn't just good for economic stability. I mean, it's really good for you as well. So when tech crashes or oil drops, I mean, Dallas keeps moving. That directly impacts the housing market we're about to jump into. Now, of course, where the economy goes, right, housing follows. So this is exactly what I'm seeing every single day. We have these corporate relocations, and that means buyers with purchasing power. When Goldman Sachs brings 5,000 employees, they need a place to live. When Charles Schwab moves thousands of employees from San Francisco, those people are buying homes and in really nice areas. I mean, Westlake is one of the nicest areas in Dallas. And because Dallas is more accessible than San Francisco, New York, or even Austin in some cases, I mean, these buyers have some serious purchasing power. And right now, the median sales price in Dallas is about $425,000, which is actually up 3.3% year over year. And in a market where inventory has increased significantly, maintaining appreciation is actually, I think, very impressive. But then you have Dallas's housing market is seeing about 66% of its homes selling below list price, with an average home going about 3% under asking. And of course, as an agent, I'm using that to negotiate incredible deals for our clients. And we are averaging this year alone in 2025, $10,000 under asking price, and on average $20,000 in concessions back to you as a buyer, and not a single buyer has had to pay a penny of our commission. And of course, you can use that money towards closing costs, rate buy downs, or anything else that might help you with the closing of that property. But the long-term story here is really about stability and appreciation. I mean, Dallas ranked number 1 in U-Haul's 2025 migration index, so indicating a high rate of net domestic immigration. And Dallas was just named again as the best market for real estate moving into 2026. They were also recognized for that in 2025. And Dallas-Fort Worth has the second highest rate of new apartments being built in 2025 in the U.S., only behind New York City. So we're building to try to meet that demand, which is really kind of helping keeping that market balanced. And if you're in North Dallas near Frisco, where all of the corporate growth is happening, you've got Toyota's headquarters, you've got the Star, you've got Legacy West, you're seeing stronger appreciation. And of course, even with more inventory, I mean, Dallas remains one of the most resilient housing markets in the country. But of course, you'll see a lot of videos on YouTube about the doom and gloom and the upcoming market crash, but you got to look at the hyper-local market. And a lot of these areas in Dallas, especially the North Dallas area, are seeing year-over-year appreciation. Even if it's only 1%, 2%, or 3%, that's still pretty significant in this type of market, but also that's really average. I mean, 2 to 3% appreciation per year signals a stronger and stable real estate market traditionally. But this housing stability is really backed by the massive economic foundation that we're going to jump into right now. And here's the number that really puts everything in perspective. Dallas has a total GDP of $745 billion. I mean, that the city ranks 5th amongst all U.S. metros for GDP in the entire country. But what's even more impressive is that Dallas had 3.2% real GDP growth in 2023. It outpaced the U.S. average of 2.7%. So it's not that we're just big, we're growing faster than the national average. And then you combine a growing population with a massive GDP and a strong economic growth, you get housing demand, right? Business expansion, you get infrastructure investment. So if you're relocating, you're moving to one of the largest job markets in America. And if you're investing, you're buying into a metro area that's outgrowing national averages. And of course, this foundation supports everything we're seeing with future development. And if you think the growth is going to slow down, well, here's what's actually happening. So Goldman Sachs is building an 800,000 square foot campus, but it's not just the campus, right? It's the restaurants, it's the retail, it's the housing and the amenities that come alongside that. The Dallas-Fort Worth Airport is also expanding, so they're always adding new gates, adding routes, adding capacity. They're adding a whole new terminal. So the airport is basically a city in itself, and it's a massive economic driver. And then up north, you've got Fields, which is in Frisco, and that's going to be a 2,500-acre master plan community with over 14,000 residences. Then you got Prosper and Salina that are growing at rates that are really, they're pretty hard to believe. Of course, I live around the Prosper area, and the construction that's happening everywhere is insane. I mean, every time I drive around, there's a new neighborhood, there's a new shopping center, a new amenity center. But I'll show you how Dallas is maintaining culture and amenities even with this explosive growth in a bit when we talk about the quality of life. But I think Dallas is really positioning itself for the next decade of growth. I mean, Houston will always be energy, Austin will always be startups, but Dallas is becoming really the economic capital because we're balanced. I mean, we're strategic and we're built really for long-term sustainable growth. I mean, this future development isn't speculative. I mean, these are funded projects with completion dates, and they create the investment confidence that's driving the market right now. Now, here's what corporate executives actually care about when they relocate thousands of employees. It's not just spreadsheets and logistics. I mean, it's whether their people will actually want to live here. I mean, Dallas offers incredible quality of life. I mean, we've got the Dallas Arts District. That's the largest urban arts district in the nation. So you've also got the Dallas Museum of Art, you've got the Nasher Sculpture Center, you've got the Windspear Opera House, like Clyde Warren Park downtown, which is a really amazing park that they built over the freeway. I don't know how you do that, but it was pretty amazing to see that happen. Then you've got Uptown, you've got downtown, you've got Deep Ellum. You've got all the free events you could see, festivals, fitness activities, food trucks, live music, and you can buy a house with a yard, right? You can have a short commute. The quality of life balance here is really, really hard to beat. And of course, when companies are deciding where to relocate, I mean, I think that matters. Executives want to know their employees are going to be happy. You know, they can live near work, they can have access to entertainment. I mean, Dallas delivers on really all of that. But I also want to make this practical, and so whether you're relocating for work or you're trying to invest in real estate, or you're already, here trying to understand what's happening, I mean, this is the bottom line, is that you're not really chasing a trend. I mean, Dallas is in the middle of a fundamental economic transformation. And again, you've got the corporate relocations, you've got the infrastructure advantages, you've got economic diversity. I mean, these are billion-dollar commitments creating real opportunities. And for those of you thinking about relocating, you're moving to a city with really strong economic growth and a balanced economy that doesn't depend on any singular industry. So your career isn't tied to oil prices or venture capital cycles. And of course, for investors, I mean, look at areas near corporate headquarters and major employment centers. I mean, North Dallas area, near Frisco, downtown, Prosper, Salina, especially downtown where Goldman Sachs is building. I mean, the suburbs along the growth corridors. I mean, that's where housing demand is really staying strong. But here's the question that everyone should be asking, and is the growth sustainable, or is Dallas just kind of having a moment? Goldman Sachs doesn't spend, $700 million on a campus for short-term play. I mean, these are strategic decisions based on decades of planning. Wall Street, have you heard of Y'all Street? Yes, that's right. There's a stock exchange now opening up in Dallas. And Dallas has positioned itself as the most diversified, most connected, most strategically located metro for corporate headquarters in not just Texas, but the United States. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Dallas long term. I mean, I've lived here for over 25 years. I work here, I invest here, I help families move here every single week. I mean, every data point I see points to Dallas continuing to dominate as the economic capital of Texas. So I don't think Dallas is just kind of having this moment. Dallas is writing the next chapter of the Texas economy, and understanding that distinction, I mean, it's crucial for anyone making decisions about where to live or invest. But now also, President Trump is floating out their 50-year mortgages as the time of this recording. So if that goes into effect, guess what? All of these buyers sitting on the sidelines are going to jump back in the market, and I think we're going to probably see 2022 all over again. So here's the bottom line, like Stone Cold said so, Dallas isn't really chasing Houston or Austin anymore. I mean, we're writing the next chapter of the Texas economy. And while other cities rely on single industries, Dallas really built something sustainable that through strategic growth, I mean, you've got the world-class infrastructure, you got room to expand. So if you're thinking about moving to Dallas or investing where the growth is actually happening, I think now is a really good time to explore that. At least get all of your questions answered. Again, shoot me a text. Phone number is in the description below, pinned in the comment, or even on the screen. And we would love to have a conversation with you about your particular situation. And of course, speaking of growth, if you think what I just showed you is pretty impressive, wait until you see what's coming next. Downtown Dallas is about to explode with the $13 billion in mega projects happening right now. And so I break down these massive projects that are about to transform downtown Dallas over in this video here. So check that one out.